The Bitcoin price may be gearing up for another potential crash at some point over the next 24 to 48 hours. If this crash is in fact to occur, what may the potential targets be? And is it time to get this crypto? What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Crypto Kirby here, your cryptocurrency expert, back with another edition of the daily live stream. Today we're going to discuss the possibilities here that if the global equities market continues to sell off going into this week's open, my friends, is it possible that Bitcoin could be headed much lower? And on the contrary, what may happen if the global equities markets continue to rally upwards to regain some of last week's losses? Could Bitcoin see an absolutely explosive recovery? We're going to discuss both of these scenarios here today. So as a full-time trader, I'd like to discuss with you my strategy, my game plan, and how I plan to crush this market right now in the immediate term. So without any further ado, you guys already know the deal. If you like these daily crypto videos and nightly live streams, smack that thumbs up button, click the subscribe, tick the little bell, and let's get this crypto. Moon the likes, ladies and gentlemen. Moon them up. All right, so we'll begin with our Bitcoin technical analysis. And of course, before we begin, this is not investment advice, this is not trading advice, these are only my own opinions, ideas, and speculative hypotheses on the market. Always do your own research and your own due diligence before investing or trading, as this market is extremely high risk, and I am not your financial advisor. I will never tell you what to do with your trades or investments. That being said, let's begin right here on the one-day line chart. Now, you guys would know if you are subscribed here, the line chart only accounts for daily candle closes, not the wicks, right? So it looks different than the regular chart. So observing this, I mean, it's quite obvious that Bitcoin has certainly broken trend structure. And by that, for me here, this trend has been divided into three sections. This red box here being the median line. Above this has been where we've seen bullish blow off tops of the market, and below that is where we've seen our capitulation zone, right? So that was the median line, and the median line has certainly been broken now, in my opinion. Now, this drop really, in my opinion, is just following the global equities markets. I mean, we should all know Bitcoin has been in a bear market going on 3 years. I mean, this is textbook. There is no arguing this, okay, little James? We've seen a blow-off top and a continued series of macro lower highs. That is classic bear market. Regardless of what any of these moon boys want to tell you, that is a classic bear market. Whether or not this turns around and then Bitcoin does in fact go to the moon, that would be an entire different scenario in and of itself. For right now, this price action has been in a 3-year bear market, and right now we have lost the potential bullish support structure, the median trend line here, which has supported Bitcoin time and time again, giving these moon boys hope after hope after hope as their dream of going to the moon has continued to get squandered and squandered and squandered again. And now we find ourselves below this median line. The bullishness is still there. Everybody's now saying, the bottom is in, the bottom is in. They're going to say the bottom is in regardless of the price that Bitcoin drops to. You must understand this, right? If Bitcoin is in fact to drop to the $1,000 region, which we're going to discuss, the same people that said the bottom was in up here at 8,000 before it dropped down, they're going to be telling you the bottom is in here at 3,000. They'll tell you the bottom is in at 2,000. They'll tell you the bottom is in at 1,000. Everywhere Bitcoin is, it's the bottom to them, right? So keep it in mind that you need to understand how to read these charts to give yourself the best potential edge to really focus and understand. Don't look at this from the perspective of emotions. You can love Bitcoin, right? We can all love Bitcoin, but the fundamentals are not driving the market right now. Fundamentals have nothing to do with the price of Bitcoin right now. What's going on here is we've been in a bear market, and now the global equities markets are in a bear market as well. We're seeing that the global pandemic is causing fear in the markets. People are selling off their high-risk assets for cash. Bitcoin is a high-risk asset of which people are evidently selling off for cash. And right now, my friends, we have to understand that the futures market for the global equities is opening up in several hours from now, and the daily open of the market begins tomorrow morning. And my friends, if that market is to give back the gains that it came up with on Friday, would you not expect for this price on the Bitcoin chart to potentially drop with it as well? I think it's certainly possible. So if that does in fact occur, let's talk about the downside targets, and then we're going to talk about the upside targets as well. I just wanted to brief you all on how I'm seeing this market right now. This is a time to be diligent here. This is not a time to have your head in the clouds hoping and praying that everyone's one day going to know that Bitcoin is the best money. Get out of here. This is not a time for your emotions to take control of your actions. Little James. The Don is fired up. I hope you are as well. And let's dive in to the meat and potatoes of this stream. Thumbs up right now. Leave a comment right now. It helps the algorithm. Let's go. So now, if Bitcoin is in fact to drop, my friends, we need to understand several things here. One, the RSI is completely oversold still on the daily time frame. If we go to the weekly, there is just a little bit more room to go here. Now, of course, past performance does not indicate future results, but we have seen some pretty promising results after Bitcoin goes into the oversold RSI on the weekly time frame, right? We've seen it, 3 times in a row. It's essentially worked out for Bitcoin, and we are getting very close to that oversold level on the RSI right here, right now. Now, of course, past performance does not indicate future results, but I am going to start to look for confluence between the weekly RSI being oversold and us getting into this territory here, this box, which I'm going to make green right now because it is potentially a zone where, in my opinion, there could at least be some sort of reaction rally, okay? Doesn't have to occur. There is definitely sentiment for capitulation through the level, which we'll discuss also. But if Bitcoin is to drop down again towards the $3,800 region, my friends, if we look at the candlestick chart quickly, what I want to point out is that a lot of times markets, before forming their actual bottom, will look to retest the low or at least get in the vicinity of the low. We even saw it over here on the last capitulation for Bitcoin, right? We saw the drop down, a little reaction rally up, could be very similar to what we're seeing now, and then we drop back down to test in the range, right, of the prior low before then really taking off. You see this across, many markets. If you look back at market cycles across many different asset classes, this is a characteristic that I've certainly seen, that the price does love to test at least back down somewhat to where the low is before starting a real rally upwards. Now, if this is to occur, I mean, what we're seeing here is we could potentially hit that oversold on the weekly on the RSI, and we may also come into confluence with this potential support box here, and we could at least form a potential double bottom or a relative double bottom before then looking to test upwards. Now, if that is in fact the case, my friends, what we have to start thinking about is this 200-week moving average. Let me flip it on. I didn't have it pulled up here. Let's pull this up right here. Why is this not going? Let's pull it up. There it is. Okay, the 200-week moving average. Let's bring this up. We could see that Bitcoin, it's the white line, my friends. Bitcoin right now is trying desperately to hold this 200-week moving average. If we close the week below here, my friends, this would be the first time in history that Bitcoin has closed below the 200-week moving average. So even if Bitcoin does test this relative low, I mean, we would probably be starting this new week here underneath the 200-week moving average. It's very worrisome for me, because the fact is that even if we do wind up getting a reaction bounce, right, there's a ton of potential bearish confluence in this range. One, it would be this 200-week moving average now potentially looking to act as new resistance, quite the opposite of how it acted as support in the past, something to keep in mind. The other thing here as well, my friends, is that if we take our Fibonacci here, and we're going to pull up the Fibonacci retracement. We'll do both of these moves here from the very top to the bottom of the wick. We could see that we have the extension targets here falling right in line with this red box and the underbellies of this prior support, which was lost and could potentially turn into new resistance, right? We have the honey hole of Don Carbonaccio right between the 0.5 and the 0.618, around 63.55, all the way up to 71.58. Then if we actually use just this most recent swing, right, from where we bounced and then capitulated, my friends, it moves the honey hole even deeper into this red zone. But what I like about this is regardless if you use the very top of the swing or that most recent bounce up and then that capitulation, the honey hole is still certainly just in that red box. And the red box for me starts between 5,800 and 7,000. So either way, I mean, we have multiple areas of potential bearish confluence there, right? We have the price action resistance, number one. We have the Fibonacci honey holes in there, number two. And potentially, my friends, if Bitcoin does fall below this 200-week moving average, and it is going to consolidate in here, we may see this 200-week line up perfectly here with the underbelly of this red box, giving us another triple confluence of potential bearish rejection, even if the price bounces back up to there if it falls. Right? So on the bullish end, my friends, I can only focus on this area right here, right now, because until I see something change, I mean, why would I be analyzing anything more than a continuation of a lower high trajectory, failing to get above critical key resistance levels as it has in the past for 3 years? Why would all of a sudden this become very, very bullish? It could, but why would I change my analysis right now until that happens? Until I start to see trend structure break in the opposite direction, right? Breaking above these critical zones. It's very, 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 very difficult for me to give any real thought or even just spend brain power on analyzing that, as for right now, it's been completely irrelevant for 3 years, little James. So for me right now, let's focus now on the potential of the downside, okay? So we just talked about a bounce, and we talked about potential targets, aka potential rejection zones here, before we could see potential further downside action, creating what could be a multi-year descending triangle, which we all should know descending triangles are classic bearish patterns, and we've seen Bitcoin break down out of them many, many times in the past. Let's get this crypto. So now, if Bitcoin, my friends, is to find itself getting stuck within this channel here, which in my opinion right now seems to be one of the more likely scenarios in my opinion, if Bitcoin gets stuck trading within this range, we have to come to terms here with the fact that if the stock market is going to continue to be in a longer term bear market, meaning that overall the trend just continues downward. I mean, and I just, in case you're not familiar with how that chart looks right now, I just want you to understand that just like Bitcoin, it's barely being supported right now by the 200-week moving average. And if this trend does not recover here and we start to see something, like this occurring over the, next several months, I just want to make it known that, in my opinion, I mean, the charts have shown this to me, right? I'm not just alluding that this could potentially occur. For me, there is nearly a direct correlation with the stock market movement correlating with the Bitcoin price. When the price of the stock market has been moving up, the Bitcoin prices generally tended to trend upwards as well. And as we see here with the stock market dumping, Bitcoin has seen an absolutely tumultuous fall from where it once was. And right now, if the stocks, global equities, not, every equities market, if they continue to fall, I have a hard time believing that Bitcoin has to maintain its support in this range, right? And if this does in fact have all of this bearish pressure leaning on it, right? The 21-week moving average, which has been such a bullish indicator, right? Look at the line chart here. Look at the orange moving average. Above that, all bull market. below it, all bear market, above it, bull, below it, bear, time again throughout Bitcoin's history. We're below that. If we are then below the 200 week for the first time in Bitcoin's history, and we now have a potential bearish resistance ceiling built here around the $6,000 region, and we haven't created any new higher highs, my friends, I just don't see how Bitcoin is going to perform well in that scenario. Could it eventually recover and go to the moon? Yes, and to each their own. I do love the fundamentals of Bitcoin. I prefer the thesis of Bitcoin to fiat money. The thing is that you have to understand that's not how the world works right now. The world doesn't care that fiat money inflates. They don't care that it's not a good store of value, right? They don't care. People have to pay their bills. They have to, make investments in other sectors that don't accept Bitcoin as payment, right? So the thing is, my friends, is that you have to understand at where we are in Bitcoin's life cycle, in my opinion, it is not being used for the fundamental use cases that, we all love, right? It's being used as a speculative trading instrument. And we hope that over time, that thesis changes to where people are actually buying Bitcoin because of the fundamental use case behind it. Right now, at least in my opinion, that is certainly not the case for 99% of market participants. They're buying it because it goes up, and at best, they may trick themselves or fool themselves into thinking that they love Bitcoin because of the fundamentals. But then when the price goes down, they realize, oops, no, I love actual fiat dollars more because if I don't have them, then I can't pay my mortgage, I can't pay my rent, I can't pay for my car, I can't pay for my kids, etc., etc. And they realize that their quote-unquote love for Bitcoin gets thrown right out the window when things hit the fan. Let's get this crypto. I don't sugarcoat it. I give it to you how it is. If you don't see the validity in my statement there on how I view the market, then I don't know, we're just not going to see eye to eye, because for me, my friends, that's as real as it gets. If you appreciate that type of heart-to-heart conversation that I give you here on this channel, my friends, please leave a thumbs up here. It really does help with the algorithm. I so appreciate it. And leave a comment, anything. Hi, Kirby. Thanks, Kirby. I appreciate it, Kirby. I agree, Kirby. I disagree, Kirby. Anything you want. Thank you. I appreciate you, and I hope you appreciate me. Let's get this crypto. So you're probably seeing the $1,000 level thrown around, right? And my friends, the thing is that, again, just like, getting above 12,000 right now, or rather, let me rewind here. Just like us getting into a bull market is too far away for me to talk about because we have such a large trend structure here that would need to be broken in order for me to see that as valid. It's the same for 1,000 right now, or relatively 1,200. That's really about the area, right? If we look at our candlestick chart here, it's that number and where it's coming from. If you're unfamiliar why people are throwing that around, it's because it was the peak of this bull market here, and then we had a little consolidation here. I mean, it's not much, it's thin, but that's where the number is coming from, right? And that's really the only valid area that I could draw a trend line at this point in time. So just like that we can't talk about the upward targets right now above 12,000 to go into a bull market, I don't really want to talk about, 1,000 or 1.2K until this region here is broken, which would be 3,000 being broken. Because for right now, my focus is all this between the top of the red box and the bottom of the green box. And I do think that at least until the chart changes, my opinion right now is pretty stuck that we're going to be probably ping-ponging within this range for the foreseeable future unless we just capitulate. I have a hard time believing that this trend is just going to reverse to the upside. I could be wrong about that, but I think there's certainly a higher probability that we lose the bottom of the green box and go under 3,000. I believe there's a higher probability for that in the immediate future rather than we rip through the top of the red box and look to, create a new bull market right now. I just don't see it with the way that the world is operating right now. Too much fear and panic across the markets. People are valuing cash right now over highly risky assets. So this is how I'm looking at the market right now. And my friends, I'm preparing for this potential next capitulation or the next potential large market swing. If you do want to see how I'm preparing to trade this and how I'm strategizing, where I'm going to be entering, where I'm going to be exiting, etc., all of that, I'm going to be posting it for you in VIP. If you're not in my VIP already, I post for you my entries, my exits, my targets, my take profit zones, all of it. While Average Joe and James at the water cooler continue to take that trip to Rec City, Don Curbinaccio is planning to potentially crush the market like a 2-ton man on a tuna fish can, right? Most people in this market, ladies and gentlemen, they're in the business of hodling and praying for the moon. The Don is not in the business of hodling and praying for the moon. The Don is in the business of looking for high reward, low risk trade setups to crush every market movement to the best of my ability. And that is what I'm going to be looking to do right here, right now. So I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been waiting, today is truly the day. Join VIP today. I will see you in VIP right now after this video, as I am looking for aggressive trading opportunity throughout this range. Keep your eye on the stock market futures, global equities, all markets. They open later this evening. It may give us some insight as to what we may expect heading into tomorrow. And then above it, watch out for the global equities beginning to trade tomorrow on Monday. My friends, I believe that we need to pay a close attention here to what's going on in the quote-unquote real markets, the traditional equities markets, because they have been a leading driving force here, in my opinion, as to what we can expect from the high-risk asset of Bitcoin. My friends, tomorrow, I'm also going to cover the altcoins market. This video is getting a little bit too long. I'm going to do an altcoin super show tomorrow. We'll cover Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, and the total altcoin market cap as well. If you are not already subscribed here, click the subscribe button right now and tick the little bell. When you tick the bell, select all. And that goes for you guys that are already subscribed here. You may not have all selected. This market right now is on fire. You need to see these videos in a timely fashion when I upload. Make sure the subscribe button is ticked, the bell is ticked, and selected on all. That will give you the notifications when I post these videos in real time. My friends, I can only be here on YouTube once per day. And if you want to see all of my insights in real time, that is why I'm telling you today is the day. I will see you in VIP right now after this video, because that is where I can post 24/7 around the clock. My friends, I so appreciate you here. I hope you appreciate me. As I've stated, if you could leave a thumbs up for the algorithm, a comment for the algorithm. You can really write anything you want. I appreciate you all. Be diligent here, folks. I believe we are going to be in for some turbulent action here, whether that's a ping pong to the upside. I think we're going to see a ton of heartbreaking upside and downside action here, over the next week. So be prepared. I know that I'm planning right now to potentially crush these moves like a 2-ton man on a tuna fish can. I will keep you updated with all of my trade setup ideas in real time in VIP. I will see you in VIP right now after this video. Let's get this crypto. And until next time, my friends, the Don has spoken. Be safe, be happy, be healthy. It's your boy, Crypto Kirby. Peace and love, my friends. Curbs.